Last week was the World Procurement Congress in London, one of the biggest events in the procurement supply chain calendar, and I was fortunate enough to attend the two-day conference and the awards dinner in the evening. And here are my 5 takeaways from what was a very enjoyable event from my perspective. I'll start with the practical stuff and we'll end with the area that I think procurement leaders really need to address to improve. So first of all, this was the biggest of this event so far. They had 971 people pick up their badge on day one. Which is a record, I believe. Well over 50 sponsors, another record. And whilst a little bit of a drop off in attendees on the Thursday, overall it was busy. And I think the people who put their money in from a sponsorship perspective got lots of opportunities to talk to a very senior procurement audience. So in that regard, the scale of the event was a success. I think it was very well run. Great compares, Natasha Kaplinsky, Dan Walker, Amy Williams. Were all very good at both the conference and the awards. And, in that regard, the whole thing was very, very well run and what is a great venue that they've used many times before. In terms of the audience, I've touched on the senior procurement people there, but it was noticeable that a lot of the vendors and the services companies on the sell side had big hitters there. So you had the chief revenue officers over from the States from Ariba and Jagger. You had the CRO of iValue there as well. CEO of exciting startups like, or scale-ups rather, like Everstream. Senior people from Pactum, the AI-based negotiations. So there's 2 examples of some pretty exciting software vendors that are on the way up there. And a lot of the organisations had really senior people both at the conference and at the awards. I think that's good to see. I think those software companies that didn't have their big hitters there may regret that personally. On the awards, I was fortunate enough to be at the Jagger table. Thank you to them for the invite. I had a great night. Sat next to Paul Desrosiers, partner at KPMG. So we had a good catch up and it was great to see so many friendly faces having a great night at the awards event. And I think the point I'd like to really highlight about the awards is not only that seniority of the audience, which made it really feel like an important event to be at, but also the diversity that we see in procurement. Not all professions are as diverse as procurement. I think it's something we can celebrate. We can still improve for sure, and so can the software market in particular. But it was great to see such a diverse audience in there, and something which I've seen at previous awards events. In terms of the content, well, I would like to highlight the fact that Michael Johnson, the legendary American athlete who won so many gold medals at 200 metres and 400 metres a few years ago, he was the sort of star guest from outside the sector. This is something which procurement leaders do well, bringing in people from outside the procurement world. And of course, it's been done at other events. SAP had Kelly Holmes, another Olympic gold medalist, earlier on this year. So with it being Olympic year, that's obviously a theme. And of course, the digital procurement world in Amsterdam, they do a great job of bringing in voices from outside the procurement profession as well. And Michael Johnson was fascinating. Natasha Kaplinsky did a great job of interviewing him, as she did many other people over the course of the couple of days that we were there. And I found his insights into elite performance absolutely fascinating, and noted that he wasn't really practicing the 200 metres and the 400 metres that much. He was actually running lots of different distances. And there's a lot of amusement when Natasha actually asked him, does he go for a run? Does he go jogging, as it were? And he did do for a bit, but no, he doesn't actually enjoy going sprinting, as it were. So he had to be there, but it was quite amusing at the time. And so to my final point, where I think procurement leaders needs to improve, and that's the wider content, the procurement supply chain related content, because there was a real mixed bag, if truth be told. So on the Wednesday lunchtime, I'd not been looking to get to any presentations on the Wednesday morning because I've been too busy networking around the sort of sponsorship area when I arrived. But a number of people were quite critical of the morning presentations when I was speaking to them over lunch, which is unusual for this event. Normally they've got some really sharp content early on, so we're surprised to hear that. I went to a couple of great presentations in the afternoon. So I saw Roche talk about how they've automated tail spend, they've created marketplaces for their big areas of spend, and the whole sort of digital transformation journey, which is one of the best presentations I've seen for a while. I also enjoy Unilever talking about AI. So they've trained thousands of people on AI at Unilever, and so they're doing a lot internally there, but they're also doing stuff for consumers. So for example, you can take a picture of your fridge and it will give you a recipe, which includes Hellmann's mayonnaise for whatever you've got in your fridge using AI. So a little clever innovation there. So that was really interesting to see what they're doing with their huge training budgets that they've got to invest in that area, and that's to be celebrated. So those were 2 that stood out for me. But one that I was really disappointed by was the one on skills. So I really wanted to see what people talk about with the evolution of digital skills, with all this research we're doing at the moment. And on that, Roche have agreed to speak to us, which I'm very pleased about. A number of other CPOs agreed to take part in our research into the future of digital skills. But the presentation that I went to on the Thursday about that, which had some very respected procurement leaders in, honestly, it was a bit like going back in time in the sense that there was nothing really exciting about the evolution of tech, about what the impacts of AI. It felt like people weren't really clued up on what's going on there. It felt like we were just talking about things we've been talking about for years. And I think that's an example of where people were critical of some of the other stuff that they'd seen earlier in the event, where I think we really need to improve. And it's an area where other conferences have really raised the bar in recent times. So there's my takeaways. Hope you found that useful. If you want to talk to me about any aspects of the event or any of these comments that I've made, or you want to talk to me about the research we're doing into digital skills, then of course I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.